If you're still pushing one-size-fits-all content, your audience has already tuned out. The future of marketing is hyper-personalization, and in this episode of Undone Marketing, we break down how companies like Spotify, Amazon, and Nike are winning with ultra-targeted strategies. We'll also show you how AI, data analytics, and smart content strategies can help you craft experiences your audience actually cares about. Welcome to the show.
It's crazy, right? Like you spend 5 minutes online and it feels like every company out there is like, hey, look at me, pay attention to me.
It really is.
Yeah, it's totally overwhelming.
It is. It is. The whole digital landscape is just getting so crowded.
Yeah, and that's kind of what makes today's deep dive so fascinating. We're looking at how brands are using this thing called hyper-personalization to like cut through the noise.
Right.
They're using data and AI to make their content just for you. Almost like they're reading your mind.
Yeah. I mean, it is a powerful tool.
Yeah.
It's really changing how businesses try to connect with people. Like, it goes way beyond just knowing your name.
Right.
Or what you bought last week. It's more about figuring out what you need.
Yeah.
And then giving you experiences that really work for you.
Okay, so imagine like you're scrolling through Netflix and every suggestion is something you actually want to watch.
Yeah.
Or you're on Amazon and it's recommending things you didn't even know you needed, but suddenly they're in your cart. That's hyper-personalization in action. And we've got articles, podcast excerpts, all about it.
It's really interesting how it all works. Like, all this personalization is powered by some seriously complex tech.
Yeah.
We're talking about things called customer data platforms, or CDPs.
Okay.
They gather every little bit of data about you, your website visits, your purchases, what apps you use, even stuff from social media. It's all collected in one place.
Wow. That's a lot of data. So what happens next? How do brands actually use all that info to personalize my experience?
Well, that's where AI comes in.
Okay.
These super powerful algorithms go through all that data, looking for pattern, trying to predict what you'll do next. It's like having a team of, I don't know, digital detectives
Right.
working behind the scenes trying to figure you out.
So it's not just like, oh, they bought running shoes last month. It's more like, okay, why did they buy them? What else are they interested in? What kind of content are they looking for?
Exactly. And all that is used to tailor everything. The products you see on websites, the emails you get, even special offers.
So it sounds amazing in theory, but honestly, it's also a little creepy. You know, like how much info are we really comfortable sharing?
Yeah.
At what point does it cross the line from helpful to just invasive?
That's a really good point, and a question that a lot of people are thinking about.
Yeah.
As this tech gets better, it's this balance between making things personal and respecting people's privacy. But to really understand how this all works, let's look at some real-world examples.
Okay. Love a good example. Hit me with it.
So think about Spotify. That's their Discover Weekly playlist.
Yeah.
It's hyper-personalization at its best. Spotify takes everything it knows about what you listen to and then curates a playlist of songs you've never even heard before,
Right.
but that you're probably going to love.
Yeah, it's so true. It's like they know my taste in music better than I do. It's kind of freaky.
It is. And it's not just music. Think about Starbucks.
Okay.
They have their rewards program, right? They gather data about your favorite drinks. How often you buy them, even where you are when you buy them.
Right.
Then they use that info to send you these super personalized offers, like a discount on your go-to latte on your way to work.
Oh, that's smart. They're rewarding you for being a loyal customer, but they're also kind of nudging you to buy more. Win-win for them, but also kind of nice to get those perks as a customer.
Yeah, it's the key.
Yeah.
Finding that balance where the business and the customer both win.
So it's not just about throwing ads at people.
Right.
It's about making their lives better and easier, giving them something valuable, and building a relationship.
Exactly. And when you do that, hyper-personalization can make people feel loyal to a brand and trust it.
Yeah.
It makes
right.
you feel like the company really gets you and values you as a customer.
It's like they're actually talking to you instead of just shouting into a void.
Yeah, it's a more human way of doing business online.
I like that. A more human way to do business. So that brings us to this big question. How are brands using hyper-personalization to create those more human experiences?
That's the question. And that's what we'll be looking at next.
It's all about the how.
Exactly. The how is where it gets really interesting.
All right, so we know what hyper-personalization is and why brands are doing it. But how are they actually using this technology to like create those tailored experiences?
Well, one of the most powerful tools is the website. Think about it. Your website is usually the first thing a potential customer sees.
Right, it's like their digital storefront.
Exactly. And with hyper-personalization, you can make that storefront like a dynamic experience
Okay.
that adapts to each visitor.
Okay, so paint me a picture. What does that look like in real life?
Okay, so imagine someone visits your website for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
The website can instantly change based on their browsing history or even their location or the keywords they use to find you.
Okay.
It can change the content, the layout, even the product recommendations they see.
Wow, so it's like the website is having a conversation with the visitor, but instead of words, it's using visuals and suggestions and offers.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. And it can go even deeper. Let's say a returning customer logs in.
Okay.
The website knows who they are, right? It can pull up their purchase history and recommend things based on what they bought before.
It's like having a personal shopper who knows exactly what you like and what you need.
Exactly. And this can be used in pretty much any industry.
It's not just for like e-commerce companies.
Nope, not at all. Think about travel. A travel website could use hyper-personalization to suggest destinations you might like,
Okay.
or hotels that fit your style, or even flights that work with your schedule, all based on your past trips and your budget.
Okay, yeah, that would be amazing. No more scrolling through endless lists of hotels.
Exactly. It can make planning a trip so much easier and way more fun.
So it's not just about getting us to buy more stuff. It can actually make things better for the customer.
That's the goal. And it's not just websites either. Email marketing is another place where hyper-personalization is making a big difference.
Oh yeah, email. That's still a big way to reach customers, right?
Totally, but instead of sending out the same email to everyone, you can use hyper-personalization to divide your audience into different groups based on their demographics, their interests, what they've bought before.
Okay.
So like someone who just signed up for your email list might get a welcome email with just basic info.
Okay.
But a loyal customer might get an email with special offers and product recommendations.
That makes sense.
And you can get even more specific. Like let's say someone put stuff in their online shopping cart, but then didn't buy it. You can send them an email reminding them about those items.
Oh yeah.
And maybe even offer them a discount to get them to finish their purchase.
It's like they're reading my mind. In good way, because sometimes I do need a little reminder to buy those shoes I was looking at.
It really works. Research shows that personalized emails get opened and clicked on way more than generic emails.
Okay, so I'm seeing how powerful this can be, but it does make me wonder about what it means for businesses.
You mean how they can actually use all this?
Yeah. It sounds amazing, but also really complicated and expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Is this just for big companies with lots of money and like whole teams of data scientists?
Not really. There are tools and platforms out there for companies of all sizes.
Okay, that's good to know. But where do you even start?
The first step is data. You have to gather as much information as possible about your customers, from your website, emails, social media, everywhere.
So website visits, emails, social media, their purchase history.
All of it. That's where those CDPs come in handy.
Okay.
They help you organize all that data in one central spot.
Okay, so I've got all this data now. What's next?
Next, you have to analyze it, make sense of it, and figure out what it's telling you about your customers.
So it's not just about knowing what they're doing, but like why they're doing it.
Yeah, exactly. What do they want? What do they need? What are their problems?
Okay.
And that's where AI comes in, machine learning.
Ah, yes, AI, the magic ingredient.
You could say that. AI algorithms can go through all that data and find patterns, predict what people will do.
So it's like having a whole team of analysts
Mm-hmm.
working all the time to help you understand your customers.
Right. And then you can use that information to personalize everything. Your website, emails, what products you recommend, even customer service.
Wow. Okay, I'm starting to see how it all fits together. But it makes me think about the ethical side of things.
Okay.
We're talking about a lot of data here. What about privacy? Are people worried about how this information is being used?
Those are good questions and something every business has to think seriously about.
So how do you balance giving people personalized experiences with respecting their privacy?
Transparency is key.
You mean like being upfront with customers about what data you're collecting
Yeah.
and how you're using it?
Exactly. And giving them control,
Okay.
letting them choose what info they share and what they don't.
It's about making sure your customers feel empowered, not taken advantage of.
Right. And it's also important to remember hyper-personalization should never be used to trick people.
It's not about manipulation.
No, it's about building real relationships.
Yeah.
Not just trying to get people to buy more stuff.
So when it's done right,
Mm-hmm.
hyper-personalizations can create these really meaningful connections between brands and their customers.
Exactly. And that leads to a big question. What's next? Where is all this going?
The future of hyper-personalization.
Yeah. One thing's for sure. It's only going to get more advanced and more common.
So we can expect even more personalized experiences in everything we do.
Absolutely. As AI and machine learning get better, brands will be able to tailor our experiences in ways we can't even imagine right now.
Okay.
Think about like virtual assistants that know your schedule and your preferences better than you do.
Okay.
Or smart homes that like change the temperature or the music to match your mood.
It's like living in a world that's perfectly designed just for you.
That's the idea. And even though there are challenges and ethical things to work out,
Right.
the benefits are huge.
It is exciting to think about how it might change things in the future.
It is, and it's going to be interesting to see how this all develops.
Okay, so we've talked about the how of hyper-personalization, the tools, the data, the AI. But before we finish up, I want to bring up something I've been thinking about.
What's that?
Well, we've focused on all the great things hyper-personalization can do. But are there any bad parts, any downsides or risks we should be aware of?
That's a really important question, and one we should definitely talk about.
Let's do it. So we've talked about how amazing hyper-personalization can be, but like anything powerful, there are always like two sides to the story. So what are some of the downsides? What are the risks we should be thinking about as we like move further into this world of super personalized experiences?
Yeah, that's a great question, and one we should definitely talk more about. I think one of the biggest worries, and we did touch on this a little bit earlier, is data privacy. Hyper-personalization relies on gathering tons of information about people, and that makes you wonder, how is all that data being used? Who has access to it? Is it being protected?
Yeah, it's like that old saying, with great power comes great responsibility, right?
Absolutely.
Brains have this amazing tool, but they have to use it in a way that's ethical and responsible.
Right, and that means being open with customers about what data they're collecting and what they're doing with it.
Yeah.
It also means giving customers some control, letting them choose what data they're comfortable sharing, even maybe deleting their data entirely if they want to.
So it's about giving customers the power, making them feel like they're in control of their own information.
Exactly. Another potential downside is this thing called filter bubbles.
Filter bubbles.
Yeah. This is what happens when we're only seeing information and content that agrees with what we already believe or like.
So it's like living in an echo chamber where everything you see just reinforces what you already think.
That's a good way to put it. And it might feel good in the short term, but in the long run, it can stop us from being exposed to new ideas, different perspectives. It can even prevent us from challenging our own biases.
It's like if Spotify only ever played you like one genre of music, or Netflix only recommended movies that you've already seen.
Yeah.
It would get boring pretty quickly.
Right. Exactly. So we need to be aware of these filter bubbles and make an effort to see different points of view, even if it's a little uncomfortable.
So we can't just passively take in whatever the algorithms are feeding us. We have to be curious. We have to explore and challenge ourselves.
Exactly. And that brings us to another potential risk. Relying too much on technology.
Okay.
Hyper-personalization can be incredibly powerful, but it's important to remember it's just a tool.
It's not some magical solution for every problem.
Right. And if we let technology make all our choices for us, we might forget how to think for ourselves.
It's like always using GPS to get around.
Yeah.
Eventually, you might not remember how to read a map.
That's a great analogy. And the same thing could happen with hyper-personalization. If we let algorithms make all the decisions, we might lose the ability to make choices on our own.
So it's about finding that balance, using technology to improve our lives, but not letting it take over completely.
Right. That's where human judgment comes in. It's about making smart choices about how we use technology, not just blindly following whatever an algorithm tells us to do.
It's about being aware of the risks and using our own brains to figure things out.
Exactly. And that's what makes this whole conversation so important.
Yeah.
Hyper-personalization is here to stay, and it will definitely change the future.
For better or for worse.
Right. But it's up to us to decide how that future looks.
So we need to talk about this. Talk about the good and the bad, the ethical stuff.
Yeah. We have to find that sweet spot between personalization and privacy.
Yeah.
Between being convenient and staying in control.
We need to make sure we're building a future where everyone benefits, not just the companies who control the algorithms.
Well said. And I think that's a perfect place to wrap things up. Hyper-personalization is incredibly powerful, but in the end, it's up to us to figure out how it's used and how it affects our lives.
So let's stay informed, let's stay involved, and let's make sure we're building a future we could all be proud of.
I agree completely.
And that concludes our deep dive into hyper-personalization. We hope you found this exploration insightful, and we hope it gets you thinking.
Thanks for listening.
That's a wrap for this episode of Undone Marketing. If you liked what you heard, don't stop here. Check out our other episodes for more straight takes on today's hottest marketing topics. New episodes dropping weekly, so hit follow and stay ahead of the game. Got a question or topic you want us to tackle? Find us online and let's keep the conversation going. See you next time.